Hi, welcome to Global Sports Injury Conclave. One of the parts of Global Enclave, we do a couple of webinars. Every time when we do webinars, we have got some particular topic we speak about. And every time we have got a good number of panelists, the experts of the industry who come and talk about their expertise and share with the world. Today, the topic is players' fitness at sports league, which is very important. It's all about COVID situation. It's all about lockdown. Infected people, fitness is a big problem. Differently nutritioned people, off playing days, fast-paced leagues. So when we talk about all those things, we understand that there has been a long lockdown, and then we see gradually the leagues have started to start. So now that leagues, which has started, we see a lot of roadblocks, which our current panelists who are with us can share some light on it on a different pace. We have got people like Dr. Ali Irani, who has worked with the Indian team for 10 years. Welcome, Ali sir.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
All the panelists.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Then we have got Mr. Ramji Srinivasan. I always tell him, Ramji sir is the man of first. He's the first SNC coach of Team India. He is the first SNC coach of IPL, Champions League, and the winner of 2011 World Cup. So I'm the man of first. Welcome, Ramji sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
It's too much.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Then we have got Mr. Pravin Amre, ex-India and current coach. He's the one who takes care, who fine-tunes the coaching of the stalwarts of the India, stalwarts of the country who play for the country, and we all look up to it. So welcome, Pravin sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, panelists.
Good evening, Pravin bhai.
Then we
Good
have
evening,
got
sir. Good
Rajat
evening.
Bhatia. Rajat Bhatia is an ex-IPL player, a very hard-working all-rounder all his cricketing life, and he's now a biomechanics specialist. Welcome, Rajat bhai.
Good evening to everyone and the people who are watching this webinar. Good evening.
Thank you. Then
Good
we have
evening,
got
everyone.
sports dietitian of the country and an avid author as well, Swati Bathwal. Swati, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nishan. Thanks for inviting. And before, like even at GSIC, I said I was the only woman speaker, and I continue to be the only woman panelist.
Fantastic. Then we have got Dr. Onkar Bilgi, the Ayurveda expert of the country. So Dr. Bilgi has got few extremely centric points for the cricketers on a whole. So Dr. Bilgi, welcome to the show.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. Thank you.
We have got Dr. Anil Sood. He is an orthopedic surgeon and has got special interest in the shoulder. So Dr. Sood, welcome to the show, and we would need some good advice from you on the show as well.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Thanks.
And finally, we have got a great legendary, a cricketer, and I call him that he was the one who fought the World Cup in 2007. So it is Srinivasan. Sri, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nishan bhai, बहुत shukriya, but thank you very much. But yeah, I was just fortunate that that was the place where the ball shouldn't come. I mean, the cricketers understands better. So Dhoni bhai kept me there so that the ball don't come there. But God's been extremely kind. The ball came there. So thank you.
So thank you for catching the World Cup again. Thank you. So
God's great. Thank you.
Right. So to start with this current player fitness at sports league, we would like to start with Ramji Srinivasan straight away. So Ramji sir, as per the situation we see, there have been COVID cases all across, and there have been some extremely asymptomatic cases. Now the problem is that we see a lot of cases who are asymptomatic. They get treated in 14 days by themselves, but then post the treatment, when they come to this ground to have the fitness, we can see that the capacity of the lungs, the capacity of the heart rate compromises at a higher level. Now, it's only realized when they do heart training. So I would like to understand this on a whole, that if such kind of cases come, how can they prepare themselves for a better future, or what kind of precautions should they be taking as per the current scenario?
Oh, okay. It's highly technical and medical question. I'm not a sports med doctor or a cardiologist or a neurologist. Whatever from my angle, my understanding of the situation, I would like to share it here. It's a very tough situation and very tough. It is no doubt about it. One of the key factors which we need to look at this point of time is how they are able to get back into the mainstream return to play after testing negative. Okay, what happens when you are tested positive is you have a problem. It attacks your lungs as well as your heart. It attacks your cardiac muscle and your lungs in pretty hard way. The perfect terminology is called myocarditis.
Carditis.
Not myocarditis. So that can be a major issue which not much of study has been done as far as a sports person is concerned. Most of the research is for general population and general population centric. Sports centric data is not available so far, except for a couple of hospitals in US and Europe. They have done some tests on sports people. Still, it's like shooting in the dark. We don't know. And the precautionary thing is, one has to do a lung capacity test for sure, definitely, and undergo a blood test post COVID, when they show negative symptoms, and then monitor them over a period of time, because this inflammation of the heart muscle can be pretty dangerous, and it can be fatal if not treated properly or if it is overlooked. That is very dicey, and we as a strength and conditioning coaches are last in the line. It is completely a medical issue, and doctors have to deal with it, cardiologists have to deal with it, pulmonologists have to deal with it, and then comes the physio, and then comes the strength and conditioning coaches, because it is pretty serious. Finding data is very important because we have a pathway and to go. Having said that, every athlete, they respond to a treatment differently and they are affected in a different way. So you cannot have one set rule. You have to take case by case study on that. Pretty dicey, and it's pretty difficult though. And also, once everything is okay, you have to start things very slowly. Don't rush through things, because you would feel definitely weak. Your initial intake of oxygen is going to be less. Your muscles are going to be weak. So it is a progression is a key. Strength and conditioning professionals have to take these things into consideration. I am sure most of them are doing it. Very important is progression. Take things very slowly and keep testing. Very important is the 14-day test, and keep monitoring on a daily basis. No stone unturned. Very dicey. We don't know. Yet we don't know. So under the presumptions of a lot of things, we are working on it. But technically, I'm sure physios and the doctors would be able to guide the players right, and then give it to us. Okay, he's asymptomatic. Everything is cleared. All the lung spirometer, gas exchange test, everything is cleared. Then he can go in for his training mode. So that also have to go in progression, or else it can be appetite for destruction for sure. I think Dr. Irani would be able to guide better on that, and Onkar.
Yeah. So
I'll just add one point on that. The first thing would be, before any COVID positive patient comes, the first thing should be IgG level. Before going close to any patient, the first thing should be IgG level. Once the IgG level is there, immunoglobulin has developed, then only go close to the COVID positive, followed on by echo, followed on by dobutamine stress test, followed on by spirometry. Then other thing starts. So IgG, followed on by echo, followed on by dobutamine stress test, and spirometry.
Absolutely.
Dr. Sood, I think I'll come to you only, because we just started with the small COVID thing. So I think let me also understand the most common injuries in sports leagues, what we can expect from lockdown to the normalcy days. Can you elaborate this, please?
Yeah. The most now, if we see in general in the world, every fifth unintentional injury is a sports injury. And that happens in mostly an acute injury. But in the COVID era, now when the COVID is coming, most probably the common injuries which will come now in the sports leagues will be a cardiac injury. The players will be finding it difficult to pump up. But in general, if we see, number one is the knee and number two is the shoulder.
Right. Thank you, sir. Dr. Irani, we would just need to understand this point. If we consider the lockdown as off-season, because it was a long, break people had from the normal life, how can a sports person improve their techniques, their endurance, their strength, and their nutrition?
I would like to go to the base. It's almost because now I have been working in a COVID-19 hospital. So we have done a lot of studies to find out what was missing in them and why they were a COVID patient. I didn't find a marathon runner as a COVID patient. I didn't find a good sportsman who had a good vital capacity. Ramji said about the lung, and that's the spirometer. I feel the basic test what Indians we should do with all our sportsmen, and I would request all the coaches sitting here to make it mandatory to test their players off season and on season. Now almost it was off season, so they're going to come in the season. Please check the spirometer. All Indians today are below 2 liters. A lung can take up to 5 liters. Most of the marathon runners have 4.5 liters. So those who are doing pranayam in yoga, we have not found them as sufferers from corona. So there are two parts to it. Aspect why corona first 3 days at your throat level. If it enters from your throat, it straight goes to your lung. And those who have weaker vital capacity or less vital capacity, they are more prone to get it. So please, all the sportsmen coming in, they should be doing the spirometer and they should be crossing 2.5 liters to 3 liters. Keeping in mind 5 months they were not doing anything or 6 months they were not doing anything. So the vital capacity will play a very important role. The whole idea is when we breathe, the oxygen content in the air is only 20.78%. So it's not even 21%. Especially in Bombay, you won't find it even 19%. Right? Being in where vehicles are working and there are fumes from the factories and ACs, even AC, the backdrop of AC air will create a lot of pollution behind our houses. So whole idea is one, check the vital capacity. Two, we all know why we are thinking of vaccines, why we are thinking what will protect us. Only immunity is going to protect us. And I feel all those who are here will in some way help the sportsmen to come back. We have to give them confidence, good vital, start checking their vital capacity. Yes, that test to be done, swab test that they are negative. We have to find, Dr. Atul was saying about the antibodies, whether it has been made or not in the body. Because if it is not made, they won't be able to fight back. But if they have the antibodies, definitely they are going to be the right candidates. From there, where we collect plasma and give back to the patient. So we have been seeing 1 liter vital capacity in most of the patients. And dropping below, and the oxygen, the SpO2 level, which we do through oximeter, we test them. Yes, it should be 94 plus. But we are finding only putting the patient in prone, just making, we call it proning, just putting the patient to lie on the stomach in layman language, the oxygen content increases. Because 2 lobes of our lungs get really good oxygen when you lie on your stomach. Not standing, running, or lying on your back. No, we need to lie on your stomach also. So whether we could start telling our sportsmen now, check the vital capacity in a simple way. There is no spirometer. So the coaches should agree, if the sportsman can take a deep breath in through the nose and they come out to the hissing sound, they should be minimum doing it to at least 45 seconds to 1 minute. So that means they have a good vital capacity. Of course, the dietitians will be talking about the nutrition, but I very strongly say vitamin D. If a vegetarian, it can come through drumsticks. If it is a non-veg, can come through paya soup. Good vitamin C, zinc. We have been fighting all the 6 months I have been in a COVID hospital, going every single day and being exposed to positive patients. right? And it was not that I was in my PPE always, just a gloves to see them and my mask. But I was confident of our immunity system. So when you fear somebody can come from your window, you will put a grill outside. So are we ready? First, let us prepare our sportsmen, how we are going to grill them, what immunity you are going to give them so that they don't get, let them be exposed. We all are going to get one day. So let us increase the immunity, starting from the vital capacity so that the heart, it doesn't reaches the heart. A good vital capacity, good immunity is going to take them coming to the next step. They come out, start warming up, whether you're going to do it in your colony, in your ground, open ground, from where you're going to start.
Good, sir. Very nice, sir. Very vital information, and thanks for that. So, Dr. Bilgi, I'll again come to you. We were breaking while you were talking last time. Can you just elaborate the same immunity thing what we spoke about?
Yeah, you have to tell me if I'm breaking again because I have changed the network.
No,
so basically, my point is it's going to be it's coming to lifestyle first. What kind of lifestyle you're going to follow? Because COVID has brought us to a social animal like human being to confined in the four doors. So that is going to play a huge role on the mental aspect of it, which again is going to impact your immunity. And again, using some natural immunomodulator herbs, that's going to be the key in food in terms of authentic Ayurvedic herbs. That's going to be the key. And using technology, as Irani sir gave a very simple aspect to it, and Dr. Sood gave the other side of it. I am giving the middle version of it, where we use technology where you can map the QT corrected wave through certain simple gadgets. You get simple gadgets by which you can do a ECG within 30 seconds. It's been used very well. So because you can't always get exposed to a place when we are going out, but this kind of devices with SNC coaches, with coaches, with so in Mumbai we have started outdoor workouts these days. So at least we do before they're starting out, we see to it their QT corrected wave is not more than 450 milliseconds. Very easy to do, but one has to keep these things in mind. And over and all, as pranayama is going to be the key, and the lifestyle, what you're going to do, these small changes. Are you going to have your rest properly? Are you going to have your breakfast early? What nutrition it has? So all these things are going to matter. And a simple herb like a guduchi, which is called Tinnisporia cardifolia, it's easily available. It's approved by a Ministry of Ayush. So you can use that as a simple immunomodulator.
Fantastic, sir. So now that we have discussed COVID on a brief, because it's all across and we are all facing every day in, day out, we'll come to the centric part of the sports we all talk about. So I will have to come to Swati Bathwal. So Swati is a sports dietitian. So Swati, I would like to start this first nutrition thing with you. So for a sports league, especially on cricket, we would like to understand how nutrition in a T20 format different from other formats, like a test match or a one day.
See, when you're looking at all these different formats of cricket, and especially if you're looking at T20, T20 is you don't get that many breaks, and you don't have to, as compared to if you look at T20, you have to make sure you've got certain hours, and that's where you actually, play the game. But if you're looking at, say, one day format is completely different, where you're getting your lunch break, and you're getting your lunch break will not be that long, but you're going to get your lunch break and the mid-meal. And if you look at, test matches, they're altogether different. So what you have to do is in T20, you have to look at how are you going to maximize your nutrition in that particular time, because you're not going to get those breaks. So you have to go like really high intensity exercise in that particular time. So I really recommend in T20 is the benefit of recovery, because obviously you're not going to, spend time in, you may have your match next day, or you may have, the next day, or the day after. So having that recovery nutrition is really, really important when it comes to T20. And one thing I'd really suggest all the athletes, especially cricketers, is make sure whatever meal or snacks or drinks you're having, 2 to 3 hours before you have your meal, before your game, you should have your meal. And none of your meals should be rich in fiber, because if you have rich in fiber and if you have food which is rich in fat, thinking that you're going to perform better because you're going to get more energy, it's going to rest in your stomach and you will not be able to play properly. So make sure your main meal is at least 2 hours before you start the game, and it should not be rich in fat and should not be rich in fiber, and make sure you are hydrating. So hydration is a big thing. Like you can see all the cricketers, they have gone from an Indian climate, they have gone to UAE, which is really very hot and humid, and the temperature difference is vast. Even the, you know, the time of the year is different, but still they need to make sure that they are totally and completely like hydrated. And when they're having sips of water or when they're having their drinks, they should have some sodium in it so that they're you know, they are all the sweat losses or any of the electrolytes which are you know, being lost in the play, it gets replenished. So hydration, recovery, and making sure when you're having the meal, they have to be like, you know, not 2 hours before the game. They should not have anything which is rich in fat and fiber. Otherwise they will not be able to play.
Superb. It's extremely informative because obviously, you know, UAE, we are still facing, it's very hot, very humid, and obviously hydration will help. Thanks a lot, Swati.
One
I'll
more
come back
thing,
to you again.
Nishant, I wanted to add, like, you know, we have been talking about COVID and we have been talking about immunity at the same time. We don't know how long this COVID is going to be, but, you know, we talk about immunity boosting, but we have to make sure that our body is cleansed before, because if your body is not cleansed, it's not detoxed properly, it is not going to absorb those nutrients. So for athletes, whether you are like, you know, whether you're a cricketer, you're a sports person, or you're an athlete, make sure you do certain practices. And Dr. Bilgi will agree to it. Talking about oil pulling, if you do oil pulling in the morning, it only takes 5 minutes. So whether you're in a hotel, whether you're at home, you can simply do oil pulling where you put extra virgin olive oil, whether...
I think you've lost Swati. So let me go to Mr. Rajat Bhatia. So obviously we all understand this point of biomechanics that people doing long hours of gym may not always be very handy. You know, we see a lot of sportsmen doing long hours of gym, but we have seen that the technically, you know, something very correct, what was, you know, performed and showed by Mr. Rajat Bhatia last time when he came to the conclave. So I would understand from you, Rajat Bhai, do you think gym standards have gone up to make people and sportsmen really fit?
Nishant, we have to understand one thing, that this lockdown period actually created a kind of pattern in every sportsman. All right. So if you normally see the last time, what I checked, you know, most of the social media as cricketers, you know, I really watched them very carefully because they were working really hard to get fit. And the gym standard you're talking about, I am not too sure, because the results, I normally go according to the results, and the results is going to come out when these guys is going to play cricket, definitely in different leagues, and especially in IPL, which is about to start. How many people they're going to stay fit or for a longer period? Because for me, the definition of fitness is completely different. It's not like when you perform, it is about how many matches you can play as much as you can without getting injured. And if you're talking about gym standard, I don't think it has gone up until unless we understand how the human body works.
Yeah, correct. Thank you, sir. Shri, I will just come to you for this thing. You know, as a player, how tough does it become when you come back from lockdown to a playing day, and you know, when you're playing some extremely important cricket, how tough is the fitness level goes and the skill set goes from the lockdown to the normal days?
I think, see, problems in this world will keep on increasing. We can't really control that. I mean, we have to control what is, you know, what I have learned is controllable. So we can worry about, as, you know, Rajat Bhai also said, it's very important to have a proper routine, and it's very easy. I mean, it's a difficult phase, but if you get used to a proper, like I am from the MRF Peace Foundation base, even Rajat Bhai is. So when your base is strong, the problems might come and go, but then you can always go back to. It's about you know, having that faith and having a belief system. So in Corona, nothing was expected, but then you know, sooner or later some other problem might happen in future. So we have to make sure, as even Onkar rightly said, having the proper diet, having Ayurveda mix. Even Ali sir also said the same thing about pranayama. I think when it comes to you know, the fitness part of you, as a cricketer or as a sportsperson, as an artist, it doesn't matter. you have to have a proper lifestyle, and that is what. And it's not going to be difficult if you are having a proper base as a kid, as a youngster when you're growing up. And if some sports person have started late, this is the right time. In fact, you can use this time, use the net wisely. Like webinars like this can really help. There are so many experienced people here. I'm fortunate. In fact, I'm writing down notes when so most of them are talking. So I am here to learn. So in my view, it's difficult, but if you have a belief system and if you can follow that in a regular basis, I think no problem will, like Sir Ali Sir directly said, he's been in touch with a lot of people and he's helping a lot of people just with the gloves, but he has that faith system, he has the belief system about what he follows. So I think you should not get scared. Now we have started our training now. We have a lot of cricketers coming in, but yes, most of them are tested first. We have followed the same routine. We are trying to create a bubble. It's not easy when it comes to a domestic circuit, and we are not still sure when the domestic games are going to start. But then we have to, fall back to where you are and follow a routine. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't think it's difficult at all. You should believe that it's a phase where you can have your own time. And most of the sports people, especially when you're playing IPL and international cricket, you don't get time with your family. Sometimes there are bigger things than sports in life, and this is the time to use that time. But make sure 3 to 4 hours is left, or 6 hours, depends on the season start. So now IPL is going to start, and I'm sure everybody is enjoying there, making sure when they had the quarantine time, they were still following a routine, and when it comes to, even Rajat Bhatia rightly said, fitness, I think Ramji sir will surely, most of them will surely, even Pravin sir will agree, because now recovery is most important. I think most of them are, there are times when you're really, really working hard, but now it's working smart, using the best technology, and, not being so hard. So that is what is most important. My kids are like saying, come and say hi.
I so I will just go to Pravin Amre sir. We are very impressed with you, because we have to understand Pravin Amre today is handling the legacy of Indian cricket. Let me put Indian cricket, not Mumbai cricket, because it all started when Ramakant Achrekar gave away few kids who changed the entire map of India different by the style they rose in the world. So Pravin sir, first let me congratulate about the Shivaji Park, which you are handling and you are looking after. And as lot of Indian cricketers come to you for fine tuning, this is a cricket centric question on a skill set. Before that, I would like to understand what is the importance of physical fitness for the players, and also with this current sports league coming in immediately, what kind of development of skill set we can expect from a player?
Well, I think, talking about the fitness, I think I will just start with that 92, where Mr. Ali was our only one man, like he was the one handling the entire Indian team. And good to see right now to understand like how many people are involved. It's cricket is always going to be the skill. Skill is so important. I think that's where you see even a fast bowler or a batsman, you get impressed by his skill first, and then for their longer period of their career, you did a fitness. It's so important to be in a world top of the world. You need to be at that fitness quality, and I think it will come for your physical. And I think then it will help your skill, but more again, we will come later on the mental aspect also. To me, I think fitness is also critical. I'm just talking about IPL type of. Rajat himself played, Srinivasan is played. It was when they used to play in India, it was a traveling. That was also very important you need a different fitness to play the cricket. Next day you have to travel, and again you have to be fit on the ground. So it was so many other aspects also. A tournament like IPL is required. Nowadays, it's a different, like this particular IPL in Dubai, there are only 3 venues. So traveling is less. But I think we just come to this particular IPL portion where we work on this current team, like Mumbai Indians, I was involved. So I think we started 3 months back and allow players to grow. It's not like we know like this tournament was in September, the boys started working from June, and it was like making them mentally aware that this is going to happen. This is the way you're going to be in the room for a longer period. You're not going to do any activity, what you are doing. But again, the purpose is that they are there because they love to play cricket. And I think that was very important. And I think once it came, I think we find that players are coping very well. It was so difficult also, like maintaining social distance, taking care, creating that bio bubble. I think it was so challenging, but I think every player's contribution so critical. And I think that's what it's going to be challenging, because we all know that one mistake from anyone, it can affect the entire franchisee. So it's so critical, even a franchisee point of view also, they are taking so much of a care and more awareness. It's so much of awareness given to the players, support staff. So what to do and what not to do, and how to that small thing, if you do, it is going to help the entire team.
Super, sir. So I will continue this fitness thing from you directly to our expert Ramji Srinivasan. Sir, lockdown created a system: no swimming pool, no gym, no one is to give training directly, and the only thing available was online. So, what is the best way from a trainer's perspective to a player who was in the lockdown for 6 months and now coming to the a highly competitive level of sports coming on?
Okay. We have been nearly 6 months during the lockdown. Most of them have been doing something online. Training outdoor is totally different from training online. Loads of parameters need to be addressed, and loads of parameters need to be looked into, especially the transfer when you're training online. Be it any sport, be it cricket or basketball or soccer or any sport for that matter, the transfer of training from what you have done indoor to outdoor, if it doesn't happen, you will be a fit athlete, but you may not have result-based fitness, which is very, very critical. Being fit for fitness for itself, it's good. Okay, fine, you can be a healthy human being, but how does it transfer onto skill is very, very critical in every stage. For cricket, it's even more difficult. One of the reasons is you have got 5 skills. For each skill, you need a different way of looking at things and working out things. For a fast bowler, it's a different parameter you need to look at. For a batter or a spinner or a wicket keeper or an all-rounder, it can be a bowling all-rounder or a batting all-rounder. Things are different. One has to be very smart in getting into the next level, and progression is the key. And 2 things I would like to say is, well, maybe 3. One is, don't be a cage tiger, be a jungle tiger. Cage tiger is fat, well-fed, content, happy. Okay, they look good. It's good for show. Be a jungle tiger, lean, mean machine. Always, they don't know when the next meal is coming. So try to identify these 2 differences. Second one is your adaptable athlete. One has to be an adaptable athlete. The more better adaptable athlete working on various components of fitness is going to give you results. Because I deal with multi-sport. It's not only cricket. Because cricket, fitness to cricket, okay, they are not top of the end athletes as far as fitness goes. When you compare to soccer or NBA or NFL, or you're cutting across multi-sport. I'm making a bold statement here, but that is fact. Okay, and next one is your, what do you call, being an intelligent athlete. You need to be an intelligent athlete. Keep asking questions. Never follow things blindly. Never follow one system of training blindly, because research keeps changing. Protocols keep changing. What is pertinent 10 years back may not be pertinent, may be good, but may not be pertinent. Or what is good today in vogue may not be pertinent 5 years, 10 years down the line. You need adaptation, making mixture of a lot of things. So what suits one person may not suit another. For example, Srinivasan is a fast bowler. Rajat Bhatia was a fast bowler. Both were in MRF Pace Foundation. But things are different. Rajat Bhatia is more of a batting all-rounder. Amazing cricketer. Gritty. Top of the line. Srinivasan again is a very hard-working, very, very focused, system-based cricketer. So needs are different. What is pertinent to Rajat, especially nowadays, will not be pertinent for Srinivasan. You have to be intelligent. You have to be adaptable. At the same time, be a jungle tiger. Be intelligent. Keep asking questions. Don't follow things blindly. There is nothing, if a strength and conditioning guy is not able to address that issue or giving you technical jargon, then he or she doesn't know the subject. Point blank.
Fantastic, sir. Sir, I would also like to continue on this part. I can see there's lot of fatigue is going to be one of the factors in the current league, because even if you talk about IPL, we'll have matches every second day, third day, fourth day, and then short format matches, quick training, practice match, training, practice match. So how can a player can get rid of fatigue?
One very important thing is recovery. Very important factor, especially as Swati said earlier, the weather condition is different, your mindset is different, loads of variables are there when you're playing this IPL especially. Mental setup is totally skewed. So idea is to have certain process and protocols in place and work towards that. Your hydration protocols, your meal, watch out for your weather, watch out for your mental status, watch out for your acclimatization of the conditions there. And so many red flags are there, so many things one need to be aware of, and working out your clothing. Even clothing matters. You cannot wear a dark shirt and go inside. You need to wear a proper clothing, proper sunglasses, sun screen, and work out smart rather than things. Recovery is critical with good diet, good recovery protocols. I think that will take the load off mainly.
Fantastic, sir. So it was very informative, because today we are actually facing the problem of not only people are just eager to play games, and which is not the right approach. The approach is, if you are not at the line of the fitness to play a game, you might not recover well, and the fatigue can carry on. Thank you, Ramji sir. I'll come to Dr. Ali Irani again. Dr. Irani, now if you can hear us, Now, what are the signs of overtraining while a player works out on his own, such in a pandemic situation? Because we have been seeing a lot of players try to work out at home and try to do things differently.
It's called overtraining syndrome. Whenever a player feels he's not performing well, they try to increase their training time. And one of the best sign, you can ask the one single question to a player, those who are overtraining, and ask them about their sleep. If they see they get up in the sleep, the sleep is not proper, that's the first sign to find out that the player is overtraining. How to overcome? There are a lot of other signals which the player will give you. One, increase the sleeping hours, reschedule the training program. You have to get back. It's not that if you train more, you're going to be a better player. Like Pravin said, everything goes back to the technique, how good technically you are sound. But the backup is fitness, endurance, other thing which comes, the muscle strength, flexibility is trained. But the technique has to be trained by the coach, or it is inbuilt in them, the technique that they are using. So very important. If you are thinking you are training 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day, if you make it 8 hours or make it 2 sessions, you are going to be better. So it's going to be in you, overtraining syndrome will come in you. And the best sign to is look for the sleep. If they are not getting comfortable sleep, they are overtraining.
Dr. Irani, don't you think the role of both SNC coach and physio becomes really vital in such kind of a situation where people are confused about how to get fitter and how to perform in a game?
I feel that evaluation can be done by a physiotherapist, but nowadays we have super specialist coaches where biomechanics is considered, training is considered. But I'm going back to, if you see in 1987, the ICC rule said only 14 players and 2 officials. So from the 2 officials, there were no choice either to take a coach or a manager and to take a doctor or a physio. So maybe in 87 things changed, and after that, as competition increased, the demand increased. No more 14 players. We want nutritionists. We want somebody from biomechanics, somebody to teach them yoga or unwind them. Sports psychologists came in. So now it's a bigger team. Maybe a team can go up to 25 members or 30 members. But earlier it was just 14 players and 2 officials. So that officials have to do everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So as Global Sports Injury Conclave, we had a central idea and ideology, and it was PIM. It's the prevention of injury, identification of injury, and management of injuries. So we had people like good physiotherapists, SNC coaches, orthopedic surgeons in totality to manage this stuff. Now this question goes to Anil Sood again. Can you just specify few golden strategies for injury prevention in sports?
Yeah, sir. Basically, in sports injuries, if we see, there are all around the world, there are 5 main golden strategies. The most important one of them is the neuromuscular training program, followed on by which is followed all across the world, even FIFA is following, is sports metrics. Then followed on by plyometrics. So neuromuscular training program, sports metrics, plyometrics. These are the 3 topmost, and then comes perturbation training. And the last is the biofeedback training. How do you feel? Even our Sri Lankan fast pace bowler Mutaya Muralidharan has gone through the biofeedback program. So these are the 5 golden strategies which are done in the world in sequence: neuromuscular, sports metrics, plyometrics, perturbation, and the biofeedback program.
How do you think the players should be very careful at the current situation? What we are seeing post-COVID, people are just trying to open up the games. So, as per you, how can the prevention be helpful in the current sports league?
The prevention can be very, very helpful, because injuries, if we broadly see, there are 2 types of main injuries. One is acute injury and one is the overuse injury. Now, in this sports leagues, when the COVID era is coming, the players are not going to come with the overuse injuries. They are going to come more with the acute injuries. So acute injuries in an ill-trained, non-performing session, and down just turning for a program like IPL or a major sports league in the world, which are going to begin now. They are going to affect the patient because the muscles and the joints are not toned up. Diet will play a major role. Absolutely, diet will play. Hydration will play a major role. As Dr. Ali Irani has said, regular training now, this lockdown period should have been used. Even if not used now, begin it urgently. Start training. Otherwise, acute injuries are going to be at a very high rate in this fast league programs following this lockdown period, in which the players have not been able to practice.
Thank you, Dr. Sood. So now the era also talks about yoga, that we should do enough of yoga, meditation, mental strengthening is very important, self-motivation is very important, because all these things can pump you up. So let me understand with Pravin sir, how important is mental toughness?
Well, I think too many things. Like right now, I personally believe in we are discussing. It's like a skill is important, fitness is important, but to the tournament like IPL and top tournament, it's mental toughness. And I think especially what era is right now, I think that's the athlete who will be the winner. I think who will be mentally fit. Also, I just wanted to discuss now also people are talking about mental health. I think that is also going to be very critical. And I think we are just discussing with all panelists, it's like what important of recovery. I think that's also sometimes that fatigueness come. We are just talking the example. I think it's started with the Maxwell. I think he's the one who started it's important to have that mental health is also critical. And after the break he came, and if we can see, I personally believe the athlete also need that freshness. I think so many times we have to understand that fatigueness will come, and how to give them a break, and we should make how mentally they will be ready, because this is going to be very critical, particularly tournament like that, after when the players has to be mentally tough to 4 months not doing anything, coming to that highly profile tournament. So I think that players have to be worked on their mental fitness also, and also as mental health. That's what I personally believe.
Thank you, Pravin sir. So, Rajat bhai, I'll come to you. Rajat bhai, how gym should be used to improve fitness as per the current situation?
Just a point for Pravin Amre.
Yeah.
Going back to 92, we were in South Africa as far as mental toughness is concerned. and we were playing Durban. Pravin must be remembering, and almost all the players were, satisfied what he was doing. He was, making himself, telling himself, Mala Karalaj Paje, I have to do it. I have to do. And we were four down hardly with 60 runs on the board. And that's when Pravin entered and he made his 100. So the surrounding didn't affect him. He was well prepared mentally that he went in, and believe me, he gave a lesson. And Kapil started saying the same thing. Kapil Dev started saying, what is he saying, So when he tried and he literally said it in Marathi, he started telling him, Mala Karalaj Paise, Mala Karal. So Pravin, hats off to you. So you are the right coach because you have gone through it and you know how to make the players mentally fit.
Yes, thanks.
Fantastic, sir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you trust me, he's only a centurion in Durban. His name is still there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very happy to know, sir. So Rajat Bhai, just onto the same question. How gym should be used to improve fitness?
Well, Nishant, it all depends how you are using the gym. I mean, see, we normally go to the gym to become fit. But if we are using this gym, we have to understand one thing, that what kind of sport we are playing and what kind of training we are doing in the gym. Is it going to help us? Is it the same kind of movement we're going to have in the cricket field? For example, if you go to the gym and you think that you're going to do a lot of squatting and you're going to do a lot of deadlifts with clean and jerks, do you think that kind of movement you're going to make it in the cricket field? So I normally see when you are going to the gym, you have to be very careful. You have to understand that every human, is having a kind of pattern in movement. How we move, we have to understand this first. We don't move like animals. We don't move in a way where like how kangaroo moves, because kangaroo jumps in both with the both legs, But we humans, we are contralateral reciprocators. So we have to understand that whatever we are doing in the gym, it affects our movement. It affects our pattern. And during lockdown, I am very sure most of the guys in the gym or in their house or in wherever they are having a kind of facility where they can lift weights, they have created a kind of overloaded pattern in their body. Now when they will enter the field and when they are going to play cricket, their body is going to get confused. I'm not talking because I'm just having a feeling, because I'm saying because this is going to, it is bound to happen. The body gets confused because during training, you have not replicated those movements, what you have to do it in the field. So that's how the fitness becomes very important. We have to understand how human body moves and we have to train like humans.
Rajat Bhai, I'm going to ask a very generic question. How do you rate the fitness of Indian team?
Very low, Nishant. It is, I normally see fitness.
I'm going to come to you, Ramji sir, after this.
Yes, you can definitely, because you can ask Ramji or you can ask, I always see going according to the results. I don't see any kind of fitness when a person is getting injured at a regular interval. You see the graph of injury, how it is going up. It is from the last 4-5 years or many years, the injury graph is going up. You talk to me about, if you normally talk about the people, of Kapil Dev era, or the people who were like, the batch of 80s or 90s, they used to run so well because their gait cycle never affected, because they never used to do that kind of gym, which used to affect their pattern. And that's what it started happening. The belief, that kind of belief in the gym, when we are going to the gym, you have to only lift weights and you have to create a vertical strength, is actually affecting, because when you go to the ground, you don't have that kind of horizontal strength, which you have never created in the gym.
Rajat Bhai, I'm asking this question to you, and this again, immediately I'll go to Ramji for the same question. Just two examples for me. Arjuna Ranatunga, 7,000 runs in ODI, 5,000 runs in test matches. David Boone, 5,000 runs in ODI and 7,000 runs in test matches. So do you think at that era, fitness was of that important, because people with belly out also scored runs very handsomely?
Yes, you can even add up Inzamam ul Haq in that,
Yes.
See,
yes.
that's why, in that manner, I always feel the technique and the mental strength plays a very important role. You know, I still remember there were times when this beep thing, came into existence, and then a lot of guys never used to give this beep test in such a way that, okay, we have to cross that 10 level. But see, that's one of the things which is very important, that we have to see that whatever the the parameters what we are keeping, is it going to help us in having a kind of fitness? Like if you see the example of yo-yo test, you have to see this first, that the guys who are having a 17-18 mark but still they are getting injured. So do you think that a yo-yo test is actually creating a kind of parameter or something which is like having a kind of evidence that the guys are not going to get injured if they are crossing that 16 or 17 mark? So there are a lot of questions which needs to be answered.
Fantastic. Ramji sir, just a quick question. Now leave other sports, leave motor sports, leave other sports. I just want to understand, is the fitness level of the Indian cricket team, or so-called Team India, how do you rate them?
Good question, because things have evolved over a period of time. Because another thing also, I don't have any axe to grind. I don't know what they're doing, basically. I really don't know. Frankly speaking, now the Instagrams and other social medias and everybody is showing their 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack, and or a keg. It doesn't matter. Cricket is a game of skill. I'm just talking about cricket. Your fitness has to assist skill, because you have 2 players, international players, 3 international players here. Simple analogy: a dog has to wag the tail. Tail cannot wag the dog. Remember this. So very important, how your fitness is designed for a specific skill or a specific game is very, very critical, taking all angles into consideration, all parameters into consideration. It's a holistic approach rather than an individualistic approach. Where nowhere in the world, one component of fitness can make you fit. You cut across any sport, talk to the best sports scientists in the world. It is a conglomeration of loads of things in ratios. For example, you need a functional training ratio, strength training ratio, aerobic fitness ratio, flexibility ratio, stability ratio. There are so many, etc., etc., etc. How do you marry all those things is very critical. As I keep telling, fitness is more of an art than science. Beyond a point, your science stops. Nobody is able to explain things, because certain things there is no research done, and certain things defy research. Certain protocols, I know certain people, those who have done certain things defy research in fitness, because it doesn't augur well with the generic population. Very important, it has to be very functional to the sport. I agree with Rajat, agree with Pravin, and agree with all the panelists. It has to be very specific to the sport, to the skill, and holistic approach is very important. Otherwise, just by doing power cleans and clean and jerk and other things, it can hammer you at some point of time, because one of the reasons is also very low research is done about cricket in the world compared to your soccer or any sport. Please understand that very clearly. Very less data is available, especially for Indians. Everything is Caucasian based. So we have to be very mindful of the fact when you are cutting and pasting, this research is done in Australia, this research is done in America or Europe or England. No. Do we eat the same food what they eat? Do we sleep the same, have the same pattern what they do? Why only fitness? Easy to copy, no? That's stupid. We have to devise our own protocols. We have to devise our own methodology. Each individual is different. One man's food is another man's poison. We have to understand that clearly and then work towards it. It's a holistic, it's a quite a big topic to talk. We can talk for next 5 hours on this without being interrupted.
And
so as far as I'm concerned, it's a holistic approach. Different minds come together, different fitness, strength and conditioning people coming together, exchanging ideas and devising a protocol which suits Indians. Very important.
Brilliant.
That's my take on it. Unless until you do that, you will keep getting injuries on the rise, and you need to design smart rather than hard.
That is,
Nishant,
that is the actual problem, I'm telling you, sir. Very right. Yes, Rajat bhai, please go on.
And Nishant, I need to add one more thing. See, there are three planes of motion what we normally get to see. You know, when any sportsman go and work hard in the gym, there are sagittal plane, frontal plane, and transverse plane. So
Yes.
most of the time, I've seen Indian cricketers, they work only in sagittal plane. They don't even go till frontal plane, and transverse plane is a kind of motion where you have to rotate a lot. That's what we do when we are doing batting. We need to have a rotation. We have to rotate to hit a six. We need to rotate, our body if we need to hit a six. The same goes with the bowler. We have to rotate our torso, our body, if we need to bowl fast. At the same time, when we are fielding, the same thing happens. We need to rotate our body if we have to throw. But we don't work in transverse plane of motion. We don't know how to rotate, from where to rotate, and that's how the problem starts. So we need to things. And there are a lot of questions to be answered, and it is very rightly said that we have to have a specific kind of cricket training, and we need to work smart, not hard.
Another thing I would
Very
like to
good.
add on.
To add one point here.
Anil. 1 second, I'll add on. Working on all three planes, there are some fantastic SNC guys in the country now. I think sometimes I feel their hands are tied because of a lot of other reasons. I think one need to get these boys into these good SNC guys. I know quite a number of guys. There's somebody like Rajat coming in, somebody, I know, I don't want to pull names, but I know quite a number of very enthusiastic, very eager and fantastic SNC professionals in our country. I don't think we are using them well. The system is not using them well. You know, we need to have fresh minds, new ideas coming in. There's nothing wrong in incorporating it, provided you put your head on the block. Whether it is a holistic approach from any plane of reference. You know, that's my take.
Now, my addition to this point would be that I see quite a bit of shoulder injuries, or lots of players they come with the shoulder injuries. Lots of players they come. Now the main thing which I have understood and read in the last so many years is it's a coordinated kinetic chain. Only 50% of the energy in the fast bowler comes from the arm and the shoulder. The remaining 50% comes from the trunk and the limbs. So
I would say 80%.
80%.
Very rightly said. Very rightly said. The body is in a chain. We need to understand the meridians of our body, how the chain works. That's very rightly said by Anil Sood.
Chain, if you use and try to push more force from the shoulder, the glenoid, the lower part of this is going to stretch and stretch and stretch, and ultimately it's going to give way. You have to develop the torso, you have to develop the rotational movement, and then come with the fast bowling actions. And all this training comes over years. The fast
Anil, I like to add on, fast bowling is more, it's one of the most unnatural human body movement, you know?
Yeah.
And, loads and loads of force creation and force dissipation happens at varied point of foot contact, whether you are running in or back foot landing or front foot landing or follow through, varied force dissipation and force creation happens. You need to work things in sequence, whether you train your posterior chain or anterior chain or diagonally at varied torque is created at varied points. How do you design the torque? It is not simple. It is very complicated movement, fast bowling. So, leverages. Again, individual fast bowlers are different. Leverages are different. Right. Rajat used to bowl very fast till Srinivasan came in and Zayak and others came in. His leverage is totally different from Srinivasan. It has to be individual based. You cannot have a generic protocols in place. It has to be individual in every level, because we are all like thumb impression, as I keep telling. Otherwise you can have one finger impression for everybody to enter everywhere, no?
Fantastic, sir. So
that's dangerous.
So just to move ahead, let me go to Swati again. Swati, we have seen fatigue in different format of the game. Large format fatigue, short format fatigue, especially when it comes to sports league, where we have got matches every couple of days, and those intervals fatigue come. So, what kind of diet would you suggest for players in these circumstances?
It really depends, Nishant. It's a very generic question. You have to see whether
Yeah.
whether they are bowlers or whether they are batsmen, and in what order they are batting as well. And
Yeah.
and we have discussed in the webinars in the past that the dietary requirements for even a wicket keeper is very, very different. So when it comes to a fast bowler, for example, you're looking at a high protein, high energy diet. Generally, you would hear that carbs are not good for you or fat is not good. It's basically individual. It depends on what that person performs better in what kind of a diet plan. There is not one single diet which suits everybody. It's all customized and individualized. So you have to make sure you are away from all these notions that, oh, carbs are not good. If carbs are not good for you, how are you going to get the fuel to your brain? You are going to end up having, a lot of athletes, a lot of cricketers, they want to build muscle as well. But if you don't have carbohydrate, how are you going to build that muscle? Protein is not the only component. Now, when it comes to protein as well, you will look at it, the way you design the menus, or the way you design your dietary requirement, is that you have protein throughout the day. You can't have protein nothing through, and then you end up giving, like, say, X amount of protein before your workout or after your training. Like that, it doesn't work. You have to distribute protein evenly throughout the day. Number third thing, which is really, really important, a lot of them, they will think, oh, supplements are really good, I should go into the supplement. But we have to understand, supplement is something you need only if you are deficient or lacking in your diet, and if you're not able to meet requirements, only then you go for supplement. You don't jump into the supplement directly. And if you are having protein, if you are playing cricket, you do not have more than 1.5 gram per kilogram of body weight. So there is not even a single conversation when people come to sports dietitian and they would not talk about protein and supplement. Supplement is something I'll be like, let's talk later. Let's talk about the way you are having your protein evenly distributed. And you will find most of them, they will say, oh, we're not going to have protein. No, 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 no. We have poha for breakfast, or we have paratha for breakfast. And then we have nothing throughout the day. And then they dump all the protein, like eggs before workout and after workout with some sweet potato. That doesn't work like that. So 1.5 gram is the maximum amount of protein. So if somebody's weight is, for example, 70 kilos, so 70 times 2 is 140 grams is the maximum, but you would still look at a buffer of 120 grams of protein in the day, evenly distributed, along with good hydration. So water is a hydration. When it comes to sports, it's a nutrient. So you can't say that, oh, water is something which we don't need to worry about. If you're worrying about protein, if you're worrying about carbohydrate, if you're worrying about vitamin D and iron, you got to worry about water as well. And because I'll tell you, a lot of times we're very judgmental. You'll say, oh, this player did not play properly. But then you have to look at the weather conditions, and they could be dehydrated. And, 2% of dehydration, which is just 2 kgs of weight loss, can actually stop your thinking. Your brain shrinks if you're dehydrated. So you will not be able to perform properly on the ground. So you have to make sure you're training your body enough onto the race day or game day so that your body is able to adapt that water. So you have to drink sips of water throughout the day to make sure you are getting hydrated. And water can be in the form of smoothie, it can be buttermilk, it can be ragi malt, it can be coconut water, it can be anything which is going to hydrate. So, when you talk about sports, every individual is different, but making sure you're looking at water, you're making sure you're looking at all the electrolytes in the water, protein distribution, and carbohydrate and healthy fats. So this is something which is the basic for all the athletes. And the way you design the plans, it depends on where you are at in terms of the position of the game as well, what your requirements are, and there you go.
Fantastic, Swati. And the good part is you always believe in natural protein, which is fantastic. Thanks a lot. So
Yeah,
I'll go to Dr. Bilgi again. Dr. Bilgi, what are the various modalities in Ayurveda by which a player can increase their complete stamina so that
First,
they get minimalistic injuries?
yeah, first I'll just address to the point where the panelists were talking about in Ayurveda we talk about a concept called body types. So body types is a lean body, what we generally call ectomorphic, endomorphic, mesomorphic. But understand, in Ayurveda we have given a type of action what a person will do, or a mental aspect and physical aspect to it. So you imagine we had a great bowler called Ramesh Pawar, if you know. we had Ramesh Pawar, and I used to like him way he used to set up a batsman, as a but what sadly as a stereotype we have started imagining the six packs in Bollywood in the sports also. So we don't give the enough credit to the body physicality of it. So he's such a enriching cricketer. Just because he's into such certain kind of shape doesn't take anything away from him. So same for Ranatunga. These kind of people, they have a leadership quality, they have an adaptability to it. So in Ayurveda we talk about body type, and I think that is one answer which I can give from my side, at least, to so that one can actually start working out in and have that kind of diet and workout for those kind of people. That's my take on the body types, how it will help cricket in coming time. Second aspect is I will always talk about gut health. Ayurveda based gut health is one of the solutions which is highly neglected. We have been talking this thing for ages, but sadly because of the colonial impact, we have been ignoring it. Right away from absorption of food, you might have best of the diet, best of the proteins, but as Swati previously also said about, it's how you're going to absorb it. How are you going to absorb the diet when it actually comes into the body? That's going to be important, which is also a best detox known to a human. It's the Ayurveda based gut thing. It will help the immunity. It will help the recovery part. So my research is on how enemas can actually help recovery of an individual, and how he can have a better strength and a better endurance after a period of 42 days. The other aspect is the mental aspect, which we all are addressing too. And again, my same solution is gut health, because we all know it has a neurotransmitters to it, so, and which have not evolved according to through the genesis. So basically the gut response, what we talk, the first 0.8 or 0.9 seconds gut response is the response which is going to keep you alive. It's going to take you to the limbic brain. It's going to come out from the normal lizard fight and flee response. So that again gets enhances by gut health. So guys, I appreciate what research is going on abroad, but all you stalwarts have to give some ounce of your intellect to something like Ayurveda in India, which is our own indigenous science. And I'm getting all the calls from athletes abroad, because Olympics is coming and we are getting rowers, we are getting swimmers who want to come to India and do these therapies. So it's just we have to make the thing aware, and I thank Nishant Bhai and GSIC always who have supported this, because it's always not so much spoken about, and it's such a thorough science which has kept us alive before the modern science actually came into existence. It's just a different dimension of it which we are not able to express in the empirical form. So I think it's so much juice in there. We have to just try and use it in the right way. So it's just an addition to the armory of our athletes, our sportsmen, to make them elite and make them go and achieve their goals through Ayurveda. And apart from that, other, so there's a part of Ayurveda which can help the entire team to be much better in any sports.
Thank you, sir. I cannot, leave your Ayurveda alone, because I know it is really beneficial over a long run, and people would understand in sports as well. Thank you, Dr. Bilgi. I would straight away go to Sri, because he has been the most obedient student on a Teacher's Day. So let's wish all our seniors a very Teacher's Day, and you have got a teacher here itself, so you don't need to go anywhere, Sri. You can wish at least Ramji sir straight away.
Not at least everybody.
Pravin Amre, biggest teacher.
Seriously, Pravin sir, I was.
Who else?
I mean, to all, even Ali sir, everybody. I mean, everybody out here is much more experienced, and even Rajat Bhai for that matter. In fact, I have to share this. Rajat Bhai will surely remember. He's somebody who actually gave me an opportunity to play for Indian Airlines. If I had not got that opportunity, I don't think I would have made for the. I would have played for the country. Because I remember in 2005, I was fortunate to share a room in MRF, which is, he's got this VVIP room because he was a better player, obviously. He used to be a guest player. And I remember he giving us, North Indians or South Indians, the way in MRF, North Indian students used to say, Gyan dega, Rajat Bhai Gyan dega. But I used to take it in a very, I used to write it down, whatever Rajat Bhai says. I was like a huge fan, and, suddenly Rajat Bhai gives me, so Ramji sir, even Pravin sir, I was fortunate to even play one game against him. So I have been fortunate to see you all, and I have to really thank Rajat Bhai. To be very honest, Rajat Bhai, thank you very much. I could never say it I've said it in many public places, but not to you in what do you call it, in face to face. So thanks to
Fantastic.
Nishan Bhai for this opportunity, and Rajat Bhai, I think that one opportunity where I got to play for Netherlands in a KSCA league, and then you took me to Delhi and you gave an opportunity. So that gave me, and with this Happy Teachers Day, I think everybody is a teacher for that matter. Now I'm a dad. Before people say, you are a son first or a daughter, then you become an uncle, your friend, then later you become a husband, or before that maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, then you become a father.
Finally, you
That's when
become
you realize.
aged.
Yeah, so all this, I was just listening very carefully because I was just, especially when I'm now, the season is starting on November 19, hopefully. So we started the training also. So this was very important for me. That's what when Nishan Bhai, you called me. So I was very, very lucky to be a part of this. And I was just sharing a few things. And I think when it comes to this live session, whoever is watching, I just want to say, it's you can use this time really well. I was just closely listening to everybody, and everybody is so experienced, and everybody was so on the sport and on that matter. And we were focusing on T20 and IPL, but I'm a huge fan of Test cricket also. Something which I would love to share, whatever humble experience I have, don't just focus as a cricketer or a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. Don't just focus on a T20 or one day. Yes, it's very, very important because you get paid heavily and you get to travel across the globe. But if you really train yourself for a test match cricket, for example, a 5-day cricket, you get in the system, as Rajat Bhai rightly said about Kapil Paji and all that, even Pravin sir for that matter. At that point of time, they used to run a lot. That is because the endurance plays the most important role, and they played a lot. And then coming from me, I am sure it will surely go through everybody, because the lifestyle is the most important. If you want to prevent injuries, the most important thing, the factor to focus, especially not just Indian cricket, but any cricketer or any sports person. If you look at even Ronaldo for that matter, his lifestyle, the 24 hours which you get, every individual gets the same, whether you're a superstar, whether you are struggling, it doesn't matter how we use the 24 hours well. So I think you have to have, I'm telling you again, have a routine, have that immense belief, and listen to all these greats, and I'm sure you all will survive not just this epidemic, but then pandemic, but then you will become a superstar. And thank you very much. In fact,
See, I will just,
now
I'll
see,
just come to,
I'm
I'll
saying
just come
something,
to
so
a
I have to.
question.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Srishant. Thanks a lot.
Shri, I'll just come to a question as well, which goes to both you and Amre sir as well. So your suggestion to budding cricketers on how to develop skill sets, as Amre sir is also with us, the role of coach from a player's perspective, which is very important. Like you also, when you play also, the role of coach, like you were saying about Timi Yohanan for some time back, it is very important. So for the moment we leave fitnesses at the side, how do you think the role of a coach from a player's perspective go?
Praveen sir should answer first, and then maybe.
Well, I think again, to us as a coach's eye, we spot that talent. I think that that spark, maybe we can say, maybe that if I'm looking at the batsman, how is the middling that maybe that sound that really excite us, and maybe last 8 years in IPL, I love to do that job. Yeah, that is the talent spotting, and I think that's really excite me, because I can be with this new generation. This new generation is fearless. They play, they express themselves, and it's fantastic to be with this new generation also. And but I think we go back to that cricket. The basics are the same, but I think like how you are going to deliver, I think that's also important, because so many talented cricketers got the skill, but it is all about execution also. The game, especially the batting, is all about how you perform under pressure. And the more you play, higher the cricket, the pressure is more. So I think that's the reason I said like the skill is critical, fitness is critical, but it's all about how the mental aspect also critical, because this game is it's going to be always, you go higher and higher, the pressure is more, and how you deliver in a pressure situation. He's going to be a successful cricketer. He's the cricketer who will play for long. And I think in any format, you talk about test cricket, you talk about one day cricket, you talk about T20 or only IPL, it is all about how you're going to handle. And I'm sure this in panel who are played the cricket, they handle the pressure. That's why they are here, or rather they are doing this job, because ultimately we are here to see that this new generation's journey can be a better, and for helping through diet, through the all fitness thing. Every person is important, and I think it is all going to how those skilled cricketers will last for a long time. I think that's going to be the future of the game.
Superb, spot on. Now, Shri, your take.
I will say thank you, Mr. And just want to say, as everybody spoke on the skill set also, so it's very important to have the right coach. And I think the most important, lesson or advice most people don't like, especially youngsters don't like advice. So a coach who is smart enough to say, it's more like a request. Sometimes nowadays youngsters straight away is doing extremely well. So it's more like a request. Once you know the student really well, it's so important to have the coach who understands. Even if you look at Indian cricket from a lot of different coaches, how they performed, how they were there. So in personal, in my individual way, I think if you're open to learning, any coach for that matter, you have to respect that individual, whoever that might be, whether it's a club cricketer, when it comes to cricket, whether it is just not played even state cricket, but even a guy who's not played state cricket might have so much of knowledge, because he was always trying, and he was trying his very best to make it. So there were so many things maybe he must have done badly, or maybe he must have done good, but he couldn't get an opportunity. So you have to respect that every individual, but don't just take everything in and just follow it blindly. As Ramji sir also said earlier, you have to make sure you get few points. Like you might read 1,000 books, but you might just get 3 or 4 points from out of 3 or 4 books. So if you have a great coach, as an individual, it will really help. And if that coach, when the coach comes to a team atmosphere, everybody said the same thing. Every individual is different, whether it's a wicket keeper, whether it's a batsman, bowler, everybody is so different. So to manage every individual the way that cricketer or that sports person is the most critical job for a coach. And whoever does that job well, I think man management skills, the way Dhoni Bhai does, or he did, I think that's one of the way. And most of the even, I think my favorite is surely Saurav Da, and Saurav Da way he managed the youngsters, and how we allowed. I was just listening to the interview about Uvipa, and how we took care of him. I think that is the way it is. I think it's the man management skills has to be the best for the coach, and the players will take care of himself. And one last thing is, I know it was supposed to be brief, but I'm explaining. So I just want to say one last thing, which I've always said all the life. It's about pride. If the coach can, teach that youngster or a cricketer, let it be any sport, let it be any arts, whether you're an engineer, doesn't matter. Personal responsibility in delivering excellence. So if you actually know that, you will have the gut to say no when some of your friends or your family calls out a late night or an early morning when you have a session. Sometimes it might even going to a temple or a mosque for a prayer, but you shouldn't be missing the training session. Even about Ali sir also spoke about training. A lot of people spoke about that. I just want to say, follow a same thing. And when you have the best coach with you, like I am very fortunate to be working and learning from a lot of people, and especially Ramji sir here. He doesn't, he sends the exact time. He knows whoever he's working with, and he makes sure, and I want to, say even Pravin sir for that matter. I remember Robin Uthappa was having a difficult time. I was staying in Bangalore that time, and I remember Robin, discussing with a lot of people, and Pravin sir was his personal coach. Even when he had other, responsibilities, he made sure Robin is in the right frame, and that's how he made a comeback. He had one of the best seasons at that time, and it's about blindly following somebody who you trust and who's done extremely well. So I think coaches are the most thing. I think the eagerness to learn and the will to prepare to succeed, not the will to succeed, but the will to prepare to succeed will make a great sports person.
Fantastic, Sri. So I'll tell you a story, and this story is 22 years old. When a yoga teacher in Jharkhand gave all the players to write what do you want to be after 20 years. So a lot of people wrote different things, and someone wrote that I want to play for India and all those things. But MS Dhoni wrote that he want to win matches for India, which was which was evident after a few years that that's the only thing he did all his life. So fantastic. So we come to the end
And
of this.
Dishan bhai, sorry, I know I spoke really a lot, but then I just want to say thanks to surely Onkar, because thank you. I'm a huge fan, not fan, I believe in Ayurvedic, and I come from a Kerala, so you know how Kerala is. Even when I had a labrum tear, I know a lot of physios might not agree with me, but even when I had a labrum tear, I went to Dr. Ravindran, and in fact, 6 weeks of proper 21 days, it's like a 21-day proper treatment and 21-day off. Following a certain proper beliefs and routines, and it really works. It's about Dhanvantari. I mean, Dhanvantari, God is the who is the best healer when it comes to religious side. So I don't want to get there, but then Ayurvedic is superb, and I start my day since the last, I think, 6 to 7 months with a spoon of ghee, the natural best ghee. I think that's the best thing for the medicine. As Swati also was saying about getting how do I say, dehydrated. I think if you ghee, I mean, get back to Indian traditions, you will survive anything in this world.
Dr. Bilgi, you started to be known everywhere now. See, that's what Ayurveda is.
I think people who understand or who understand their own trade so well, they'll always appreciate the other traits.
For labrum, he can come to me when required.
Then I did the strengthening training. I combined the technology and science with Ayurveda. So that is like a balanced diet, balanced lifestyle.
So coming
to
the end,
sorry, Nishant, to add to that, I have been reading a lot about the genetic composition, like how your genes have been made up of and how they react. So I want to tell everybody, like when they talk about diet, and that's why I think Dr. Bilgi is doing an incredible job, because he's touching the the most emotional corner of Indian diet, which is Ayurveda, which is getting more and more popular. So what happens is your genes have certain expectations. So if you don't give your genes, which your genes have been going on for generations and generations, for 500 years, and if you all of a sudden, if you don't give your genes what they are expecting, they actually turn off. They don't work. So whether you are in Bihar, whether you're in Kerala, whether you are in Rajasthan, whichever part of the state you are, go back to your ancestors' food, what they actually had. That is so important, because you have to make your genes, you have to turn them on. You have to give them what they have been used to for so many years. And I think that's why Ayurveda makes a lot of sense, when it comes to nutrition.
Superb. So coming towards the end of the, player fitness at Sports League. So as per the system, I would go to each individual, and we'll take a small suggestion for all the viewers, all the players. So we'll start with Dr. Ali Irani. Sir, your one line to the players on a whole who are about to go to these leagues and the fast-paced leagues, what would you suggest, sir?
Jo dad gaya, wo mar gaya. They will never come back if they are going to fear. Corona has come to stay. Increase your immunity, start slowly, increase your endurance, go for training as your coach and experts advise you.
Fantastic, Dr. Irani. Ramji sir, see, you have got so many Chennai connections, MRF connections, Chennai connections. So you are in the center of it, sir. Your suggestion to all these players.
Chennai is down under,
India's down under.
Okay, I would like to add on 2 points. One point which nobody talks about, nobody has even spoken about so far. Whatever I know, to my knowledge is Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. One person who defied sports science in every level. Since he had injuries from head to toe, literally. You take any joints, he has got injuries. And in spite of that, he went on to play 24 years, which is remarkable by any standard. from all sport in the world. 24 years is 2.5 generations. He has defied sports science, he's defied physios, he has defied doctors, he has defied fitness trainers at every level. So, and went on to play. How did it happen? Smart. Train smart. Train what is pertinent. What is specific to your skill. Don't look at Instagrams and follow things. It is potentially dangerous, and keep asking questions. That is my only thing, is keep asking questions. No question is trivial as far as your knowledge is concerned. Every day you can learn things, and it's our duty to, as an SNC, it's our duty to explain and put our head on the block. Simple.
Fantastic, sir. Superb. Sachin Tendulkar retired on 16th of November 2013.
Yes.
And after playing for 25 years, on his retirement date, he didn't cry. So that was the biggest part why Sachin is different. So fantastic, sir. So
Jedi of world sport. Jedi of world cricket.
Yes. So I will go straight away to the counterpart, to the same guru, Pravin Amre. Sir, what is going to be that one-line suggestion for these players who are going to play the leagues coming on?
Well, I think one line I will only say, like, life is challenge, enjoy it, because this is really challenging moment. But I think it's so important. I think if they started enjoying it, they will find the way. In cricket, we know, like, it's always going to be question. You don't know every answer, but it's always it's our way to find the answer. And I think this is where this particular time everyone is really worked hard to find the answer. But it's again everyone will enjoy. I think it will be a good season for them.
Super, Praveen, sir. Swati Bathwal, I know hydration is important. I know natural protein is important. Now your one line of everyone, please.
I think don't get carried away by all the diets which are thrown at you, that low carbohydrate, vegan, and then, keto and all of those things. I think you should just agree whatever agrees with you. Like, I don't even tell people that you should do gluten-free or dairy-free unless it makes any difference. So see what works for you. You are the best judge when it comes to nutrition. And then, of course, you have to take, suggestions from expertise like us and Dr. Bilgi, of course. So, but you just have to make sure, just your body is going to tell you, Dr. Bilgi talked about gut health, importance of gut health. That is really, really important. Keep that in your mind. So, everybody just listen to your body, what it needs, and you will find the answer, what works and what doesn't.
Thank you, Swati. Dr. Bilgi, your turn, please.
Yeah. So just to add that Canada as a state has given up dairy from their dietary requirements. Apart from that, I want people to follow Ayurveda, especially the sportsmen, so that their life after COVID something comes, they are going to be more fitter. And one other thing is, there are going to be post-COVID residual factors on athletes. I've seen many athletes who have had COVID and who have taken Ayurveda and are now in good condition, but everyone is going to have post-COVID condition. We have to be aware of that. Again, testing is going to be, tracing is going to be important. The other aspect is the mind is greater than body, guys, and express your gratitude. Today, the best moment in the entire aspect was when Shri expressed the gratitude towards Rajat Bhai. I really loved that moment. So I think just express your gratitude, and once the bonding is right, everything is going to, the knowledge and everything is going to happen. But just be mindful and be thoughtful, and life is going to have challenges, but as humans, we are going to come over it.
Thank you, Dr. Bilgi. Dr. Anil Sood, your one line on prevention, please.
Sir, train well, be watchful. Any type of injuries, be watchful, don't ignore, and train well.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sood. Rajat Bhai, can I have your one line very specific to the players of the league, please?
Nishan, my one-liner is train intentionally, not habitually. All right, train like humans. See, I became human biomechanics specialist later. As a cricketer, if you ask me, definitely, I always say to the guys who are playing IPL, all the best. I really want you guys to be safe. as you guys are, and that really going to be, it's not going to be easy playing IPL in UAE. Definitely in that kind of environment where you have to stay in your rooms and then go out and play and then again come back to the room. So definitely I want you guys to be safe, and that's it. All the best, guys.
Thank you. And now the golden touch line from Shri.
So, see, I just want to say, be the CSO of your life. CSO is being the chief selection officer. Whatever decisions you make, whatever choices you make, stick by it. As I said earlier, use the 24 hours wisely and be productive. And please watch this webinar again and write the points, whatever these legends have said, and please follow it. It will surely help you. Be the CSO of your life. Don't worry about losing the 6-7 months. Trust me, I lost 7 years. I'm still back. I'm still bowling fast and I'm still fit. The technologies, the dietitians, the nutritionists, everybody will take care of yourself as long as you're willing to learn. Be the CS of your life.
No, you are a great example, Sri. I'm telling you, we all follow you. So now we come to the end of this players, fitness at sports league. We all understand it's a new normal. The league is going to be played without any audience. It's very tough because players get a lot of motivation when people shout. So Sachin all his life has only hearing Sachin, and when Dhoni walks in, so the noise is behind Dhoni's name. So that's what the cricketers, the players are known for. And we are going to a new normal. I think people should who are watching us must look into a lot of yogas, meditation. It can make you more stronger. It's all about self-motivation. It's all about mental strength, and only one thing in life. If the focus is very clear, you can obviously win matches for the country. That's the key. Thank you. So let me thank everyone individually. Thank you, Dr. Irani. It was a great session. Thank you, Ramji sir. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you for the
Pravin, sir.
invite.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Great honor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good day.
Dr. Anil Sood.
Be safe.
Sure.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Bilgi. Thanks, Swati.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nishan.
Thank you, Rajat Bhai. And finally, thanks, Srishant, and wishing everyone a very, very happy Teachers Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Nishan.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Devi.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
See you, Rajat Bhai.